Good evening, everyone. If you are new, make sure you, if I don't have your email, put your email into the chat. If you haven't emailed me previously, put your email in the chat so I have it. I think that T, what did you say you said your first question you wanted to go over? What type of question? You said quadratic equation? Or you said the plus or minus, right?
Yeah, linear
Or linear equation, which one?
either one.
All right, so what do you mean linear equation? Like a word problem, a graph?
Just in simple form, like standard form, I mean.
Standard form? Okay. All right, so let's look at these problems here. Okay, you got two linear equations. You have one in slope-intercept form, and you have well, they're two different forms on this worksheet. Slope-intercept form and standard form. So this first form, number one, this is slope-intercept form. This is the most common form. And how do you know? Because it's y equal mx plus b. So in order for you to, and does anybody know what the slope is of this equation? Y equal 3/2 x plus 3. What's the slope?
The slope is 3/2.
3/2. So all you're doing is whatever's in front of the x, 3/2. Then with the y-intercept is whatever's left. It doesn't matter if it's negative or if it's positive. Whatever's left, you got y equal mx plus b. So my y-intercept is what?
3.
Yep, 3. Now, that's most people can get that fairly quickly. The issues are problems like number 3. Okay. Now, you can do it two ways. You can solve for y, what they want you to do. So let me save this and let me move this up. I'm going to show you what they want you to do. Let me increase the zoom. What they want you to do is they want you to subtract 4x from both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you do on the other. And then the 4x is canceled. You get 3y equal minus 4x plus 3. All I did was change the order because I know I wanted y equal mx plus b. Now, y is not by itself. So since it's being multiplied, I need to divide by 3. Since these are unlike terms, everything has to be divided by 3. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them under each other separately so you can see it. So those 3's cancel. Y equal minus 4/3 x plus 1. And then you would say, okay, what's the slope of this equation?
It's 4/3.
What kind of 4/3?
Negative 4/3, sorry.
And what's the y-intercept?
1.
Plus 1. So that's what they want you to do, okay? What I've shown you is a much easier way. That if you know how to identify this as standard form, you don't have to take all them steps. So ax plus by equals c. And we know the slope is you're going to take the opposite of a and put it over b. So if a is 4, what's the opposite of 4?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. What's b?
3.
3. I just did my slope in 5 seconds.
Yep.
I didn't have to solve anything. I didn't have to move anything to the other side. I didn't do any of that. But you have to be able to identify as a slope-intercept form or standard form. Now, to find the y-intercept, it's the same thing. C over b. Now, this is not on your formula sheet. They don't give this to you. C is 3. B is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. You're done.
Yep.
Y-intercept is 1. Slope is negative 4/3. Okay, so you got to be ready for standard form and slope-intercept form. Got to be ready. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a sheet similar to this one probably today or tomorrow, where all you doing is figuring out the slope and the y-intercept. And what I'm going to do is the first question I'm going to ask is the slope-intercept form is the standard form. Then what's the slope? What's the y-intercept? So everybody will get in the habit of doing that. Okay?
Yeah.
So does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
No problem, no problem. Any other
Are
questions?
you gonna put it on Schoology Mr. T?
Yes, I'm gonna put it on school. Matter of fact, you
Okay.
should see. Matter of fact, I just made another. I made a new one today. I made a new
Okay.
one today. So let me show you. I actually made a new practice test today. On my lunch break. So again, if you go into practice tests and additional practice problems, go into practice GED exams. Now you got 11 practice tests. Hold on. There we go. Oh, 12. No, hold on. No, the 12. Don't ignore the 12. I didn't do that one yet, but 11 is the one I made today, I think. But I'm not. Yeah, 11 is the one I made today. So let's preview it. Let's see if we can preview it. Let's see if we can have any questions. Let's just look at it. Let's look at it. Let's see if people can answer the types of questions you may get on the GED exam. So let's just try that. Okay, right here. A wall is supported by a brace 10 feet long, as shown in the diagram below. If one end of the brace is placed 6 feet from the wall, how many feet up the wall does the brace reach? Who knows how to do this problem?
Is that a
That's
Pythagorean,
a Pythagorean theorem.
theorem?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
At
it
the
is.
same time.
This is a Pythagorean theorem problem.
Theorem.
What is the
Yeah.
Pythagorean theorem?
A square plus B
B
square
squared.
equals C square.
Now, when I look at this example, what's my A, my B, and my C? How would I solve this?
Well, the way it looked.
It looked like it's A
The
and B. I mean A and C.
yeah, that's what
A
it
and
looked.
C, correct.
Yeah.
Why?
yeah.
Because this is my right angle, and I
Mhm.
know
Right.
the side opposite my right angle is always
It's
going
a
to be C,
hypotenuse. Yes.
or the
Right.
hypotenuse.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter
Right.
what you call the other leg. You call it A, you call it B, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to call it A.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, does
Right.
anybody know from the ebook how I tell you how to do this in 5 seconds? What do I tell you to type in the calculator to solve this problem? Does anybody know?
Well, I know you
6
multiply
squared.
it. Oh, you square.
Square it
Mm-hmm.
or square root?
Square
Yeah, I'm
root.
sorry.
Sorry.
Square root.
Square root.
We know what it means.
All
Then
right,
what?
right. I'm telling you. Square root.
Square root.
Then what?
Once you square root A and B, then you add them to get C.
So that's the problem.
No, you gotta find. You got A and C. You gotta.
I mean, I'm sorry, A and C. You right, sister.
So
meant
first
to-
of all, you got to identify that you have A and C. So
You
Right.
gotta get B.
but the
yes.
formula says A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So that's not
Oh,
the formula that we want to use.
No.
Okay.
So what you realize is since we have A and C, I need to solve for B.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if I want to solve for B, that means I need to
Minus.
subtract A squared.
Yeah. A squared
Yeah.
from B.
So I'm going to get B squared equals C squared minus A squared.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
B is still not by itself. I have B squared. How do I get B all by itself? What is the inverse operation of squaring something?
Is it the wait a minute. This is square the root.
Square root.
Root, yeah.
So,
okay.
so again, these are the things when I ask a question. I heard one person say it, but everybody should know that the inverse operation of squaring is square root.
Square root.
You should know your square, square roots, cube, and cube roots. It's going to be on every exam. So if I take the square root of both sides, I get B equal the square root of C squared minus A squared. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use my calculator. I'm not going to, I'm not going to waste any time. So how do I get the square root symbol in this calculator?
Oh God, do you push it's a second and
second
and the caret? I believe. I don't know if I'm right.
Nope.
Nope, that's not it. Second and the x2.
Second and x squared.
Yeah, there
and
you
then
go.
How do I put in? So what is C squared? What side is my C?
Your C is that's 10.
10. So 10
it's 10
squared
minus
what?
6 square.
6 squared. Get out of my square root. I press enter. My answer is done. I got my answer E. You're going to have a Pythagorean theorem problem. You can count it. Put money in. It's money. You're going to have a Pythagorean theorem problem.
Me
Yep.
So this is
too.
pretty
They
much
on this. They on this exam too, Mr. T.
Huh?
They on the they're on the T's test too. Everything, all of it.
Yep. So we said that was 8. Let's go to the next
Yes.
question. Let's see. Okay. Let's
All
look
right.
at this one. Now, T, you had asked something about something like this. It says, which expression is a factor of x squared plus 2x minus 15? Wow. Listen to what this question is asking. Which expression is a factor of x squared plus 2x minus 15? Who knows even how to start that problem?
Okay. That's 15. That's minus. That's negative 15. 2x.
First of all, let's identify what we know. What type of equation is this?
It's a quadratic.
It's a quadratic equation. So that's the first thing. Always identify what you know. This is a quadratic expression or quadratic equation. We don't see equal, but the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So if you don't see an equal sign, just assume it's equal to 0. Okay, so if I have this quadratic, how can I factor this quadratic equation? Can anybody tell me how to factor this quadratic equation?
Then you have to factor 15. The 15.
We have to factor
2 and 15.
Is it 15?
Negative 15.
Negative
15. Okay, so negative 15. So I want you to tell me the factor pairs. What two numbers can I multiply together to get negative 15?
Okay, we're going to do
Multiply
negative.
2 numbers.
Yeah, you're going
to 15.
Start with 1.
Yeah, 1. That's what I was going to say.
Negative 15.
1 and negative 15. 2 doesn't go into 15. Does 3 go into negative 15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many
3 and
times?
5. 3, yeah. 3 times 5.
Sure about
minus
that?
5.
Minus 5.
Minus 5. Yeah, to get
4 doesn't
15.
go into 15, and we already said 5. So we already got the two pairs that you multiply together to get negative 15. What are we going to do on the other side of this
You're going to do
T? What are we going to do? So we got.
You're going to switch. You're going to have negative 1 and 15, correct?
Right. So we're going to change the signs. So we got minus 1 and 15, and we got negative 3 and 5.
Yeah.
So understand. So we identify as a quadratic equation. We identified that. Remember, let me write this down for you so you can see it. Ax squared plus bx plus c. So my A is 1. We don't see a number there. If we don't see a number, it's a 1. My B is 2. And my C is negative 15. So that's where we got this from. So when A is 1, we want to factor C. We want to find a factor pairs for C. Once we find that factor pairs of C, we want to find which pair is going to give us B. So which pair is going to give us plus 2? Which pair is going to give us plus 2?
Yeah,
negative 3 and 5.
Negative 3 and 5. Yeah.
Guess what? You're going to take those two. You just factored the quadratic equation. So you're going to say x minus 3. X what?
Plus 5.
X plus 5. So what they want to know is which one is a factor from this list. X minus 3, x plus 15, x plus 3, x minus 3.
The first one, yeah.
Most people will get this wrong. This is not solving it. This is not, but you have to factor the quadratic equation in order to find one of the factors. So you got two factors in this quadratic equation, x minus 3 and x plus 5. They only ask for one, x minus 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you store these in the calculator and get the answer also?
Yeah. You can, but if they're asking for a factor, then you got to work back. So for example, you can store A is 1, B is 2, C is minus 15, and then you can solve it. So what you can do, if you want to use the calculator, you would have to do this. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it. So to answer your question, yes. So you would have to go 1 store A,
Mm-hmm.
2 store B, minus 15 store C. It's going to take a, then you hit ND, you got minus B. This comes from your formula sheet. Plus or minus. Remember you asked me about the plus or minus? Well, that's part of the quadratic formula. So what we're going to do is with the calculator, I'm going to use the plus first, then I'm going to use the negatives second. So minus B square root of B squared minus 4AC. And this takes practice. You got to do this about 5 to 10 times to make sure you know how to do it. So now, this is going to solve the quadratic equation. So I'm hit enter. So I know my answer is plus 3. So I know X is 3. And then I'm going to get my second solution. I'm going to go back up into my quadratic formula, and I'm going to change that plus to minus. Remember how it has plus minus? Or we only can do one at a time in the calculator. So I'm going to do minus. My other answer, my other solution is minus 5. But that's not the factor they're asking you for. So now you got to factor it from the answers. So you go to opposite. So this is plus 3. You're going to do X minus 3. Since this is minus 5, you're going to do X plus 5. So you had to go backwards. Before we factored and found the zeros to get 3 and minus 5. So can you do it? Yes. But what I will make sure I know how to do is how to factor a quadratic equation, because usually A is 1. All you got to do is, let me show you. What you should be able to do is, let me show you. And this takes practice. And this is why I got a whole quadratic. You should be able to look at this when A is 1. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Let me make this a little bit bigger. When A is 1 of a quadratic equation, the first thing you should be thinking is what two numbers can that I combine together will give me 2. When I multiply, will give me minus 15. So since I know my middle term is positive, I know my bigger number is going to be positive, right? So that's X. So I'm thinking 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Okay, well, 5 minus 3 is 2. I got my answer. So X plus 5, X minus 3. Boom. Now check it. X squared minus 3X plus 5X minus 15. You got 2 like terms, X squared plus 2X minus 15. That's what we got here. That's what we got here. Again, if you do these enough, it doesn't matter. That's why I can make up a quadratic formula and do it. Like, for example, I had X squared plus 3X minus 18, right? Okay. I know 6 and 3, if I multiply them, give me 18. If I subtract them, I get 3. So I know my biggest number is going to be positive. X plus 6, X minus 3. Done. But if you do them enough, you should know that I got to combine the two numbers to give me my middle coefficient, and I got to multiply them to give me my last term. And that'll give you practice. That way, that's why I can look at a quadratic equation when X equals 1, I can get the answer. And that's why I had that quiz in school that you say you get practice. Wow. Does anybody, oh my goodness, look at this problem right here. Matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. Anybody get this problem right? No, I better not. I was going to say, I'm about to treat I'm going to pay for somebody's exams. Like, no, I'm kidding. I'm only kidding. But anybody, if we look at this problem, sterling silver is made of an alloy of silver and copper in a ratio of 37:3. If the mass of a sterling silver ingot is 600 grams, how much silver does it contain? Can anybody answer this question?
So the ratio is 37.3 over 600?
No, that's not a 3. The ratio
0.3, 37.3?
No. That's not a 0.3. That's 37:3. That's a colon.
Oh, okay.
So they're giving you the ratio.
Oh, that's the ratio. Okay.
So would you do this like proportion?
I don't know.
What? I can't even. Okay.
37 over 3.
That's
If
the
the
ratio.
mass
That's
of a
37
certain
over 3.
silver ingot is 600 grams, how many
Over
silver
600.
does it contain?
Okay, wait a minute.
Now, let me tell you something. Always identify what's given.
What you have.
Always.
Yep.
So first of all,
Lord.
it's silver and copper. Silver to
Okay.
copper, right? So this is going to
Yep.
be my silver.
And the
This
silver is
this going to be
37
my copper.
and
But
copper
they're
is
giving
3.
you something that has both already.
600 grams.
So if they said
right.
if they said the silver part was 600 grams, then you can set up a proportion. So what
Yeah.
you would have to do is, this is 37 parts silver, 3
And
parts
3
copper.
copper.
But
right.
how many parts is that total? That's 40 parts. Right? Because 37 are silver, 3 are copper. So 40 parts of this ingot, right, is 40 parts of metal. 37 are silver, 3 is copper. So now if I know I got 40 parts,
over 600.
I'm going to divide. Because I need to know how much each part is. So 600 divided by 40 is what? Anybody know?
What the heck? They gave me. Oh, wait a minute. It is 15.
15. Now, how did I do that so quick? Again, mental math is very important. Knowing your multiplication tables is very important. Knowing your foundational rules is so important. This is what I did. 600 divided by 40. I know I have zeros at the end of both numbers. I can get rid of them. So that's the same thing as saying 60 divided by 4. All that is saying is 60 divided by 2 times. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So that tells me each part is 15. 15 is each part. So now, if I take the 15, so they want to know how much silver. So silver is 37 parts. So I'm going to take that 37 and multiply by 15, and I get 555. Most people would get that wrong because they rush into a proportion. They think, oh, 37 to 3 is to what to what. That's if they told you this was silver, or if they told you this was copper. But this is a combined of copper and silver. So you got to find your total parts first. So that answer will be 555. So this is the next quiz that I made up. I mean, the next practice test that I made up. Let's try to find another one. Let's look at this one here. Oh, this is lovely. Which ordered pair is the solution of the following system of equations? Who would know how to solve this problem? Who knows how to solve this problem?
I don't feel like it.
What are you trying to do when you're trying to solve a system of equations? Does anybody know?
Yeah, you gotta get rid of one of the X or the Y, the variable. I don't know the words for it, but
yes, you do know the words. What is X or Y called?
Variables. One of the variables.
So you got to get rid of one of the variables. You do know. So that's the one thing. So T, Sharon, everybody on this phone call, on this Zoom session, make sure you know terminology. That's a lot of reason why people are getting problems wrong. You have to know the terminology. Okay, here, when you're solving a system of equations, you want to eliminate one of the variables.
There you go. One of the variables, correct.
Okay, so now, let me make this a little bigger. What do you notice about this system of equations? What variable should we try to get rid of first?
3x.
Why 3x?
Why not the Y?
Why?
Exactly. This is, remember, when they mean eliminate, they want you to have opposites. Yeah. So what's the opposite of 3x?
That's minus.
Minus 3x.
It's 3x, yes.
Do I have a minus 3x there?
No.
No, so this would be very difficult to get rid of the x. Now, I'm not saying you can't get rid of the x, but it's very easy to get rid of the y. Why? Because the y's are exactly the same.
The same, yeah.
So the opposite of plus 2y is what?
minus.
Minus 2y.
So I'm going to take this whole second equation and I'm going to multiply it by a negative. So I'm going to bring this equation over, 3x plus 2y equal 4. If I multiply an entire equation by a negative, what am I actually doing?
Well, okay, you're going to make it all negative.
Nope. Nope.
No, you ain't. No, you're not. Okay.
What's a negative times a negative?
This is going to be a positive 2x.
A positive. So when you multiply by a -1, what you're doing, when that negative is on the outside of that parentheses, what you're basically doing is just changing the sign of everything inside. So 2 negatives make a positive.
And this one going to be a negative 2y, right?
A negative and a positive make a negative.
Okay.
A negative and a positive make a negative.
Negative 24.
So basically, this went from negative to positive. This went from positive to negative, and this went from positive to negative. So if you have a negative, this is one of the most common problems on the GED, where one of the variables will be the same. You have to multiply one of the equations by -1. Now, the second step is to combine the equations. What's 3x plus 2x?
5x.
5x. What happens to the 2 y's?
They cancel out.
They cancel out. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. What is minus 24 plus 4?
Minus, it's, negative 20.
I want to know.
Negative 20.
Negative 20.
If I want
Now
to
you
solve,
divide. You divide.
You got to divide 5.
divide by what?
Both sides.
5.
By 5.
Now 5
So we get
divided by
x equal what?
X equals negative 4.
-4. So let's look back on multiple choice. We know the x is -4, right? So hold on. Let me save this first. Let me take a picture. Now let me erase this here. Move down. So we got 2 options where x is -4. What two options can we get rid of right now? If we know x is -4, what 2 options can we get rid of right now?
The first one and the
second one.
The first one and the second, because we know every point has x comma y. We know x is first. So since x is -4, it can't be the first one, can't be the second one. But for the last 2, x is -4. But it got 2 answers. It got 8 and -8. What do we do now? What do we do now if we know x is -4?
We got to plug it in.
Don't you plug it in?
We got to plug it in. Which equation should we plug it in?
Do it matter?
It does not matter. It does not matter. So I'm going to plug into the first one.
Okay.
So 3 times -4 plus 2y equal 4. What's 3 times -4?
A -12.
-12 plus 2y equal 4. If I want to get the y by itself, what do I need to get rid of?
We got minus the 12. I mean, add 12, sorry.
Add 12 to both sides. Whatever we do to one side, we do on the other. So we get 2y equal 16.
Yeah.
In order to get y by itself, what do we need to do?
Divide.
Divide by what?
2.
Divide by 2.
It's going to give you a positive 8.
So we get y equal 8. So if we know y is 8 and x is -4, right? We're going to look at our multiple choice. And what's the correct answer?
It's this one.
The one
-4, 8. Yeah.
-4, 8. Okay, so listen to what I'm telling you. So on my practice test, I know they're giving you some headaches.
Ooh,
I know they're making you. I know they're making you think. I know they're wearing you out. The reason why is because I want my exams harder than the real exam. So when you go to the GED exam, in your math exam, you won't be flustered at all. You will not be flustered at all. So again, so this is the next practice test is 40 questions. I got a bunch of different types of questions. I added another test. I'm going to add a 12th practice test because what I want you to be able to do is be able to go to Schoology and see the number of different word problems, the number of the computation, using your formula sheet, using your calculator. Okay. So we're gonna stop. I don't want to give all the answers to the practice test, so I'm gonna stop there. So is there any other types of problems that people have been working on during the week that gave them trouble? Because if you've been practicing math all week, you should be coming to these Monday sessions with some questions. Because if you don't come to the Monday session without questions, it's only two things I can assume. Either you haven't been doing your work, haven't been doing any math, or you ready to take your exam.
I have a question.
Yes.
No.
You know about the age, like 3 years older and less, like 3 people. Yeah, that was giving me a lot of problems.
Let me see. System of equations. Let me see.
Oh, he's talking about when my sister was 15 years older than that one. Them kind of problems.
Yeah, most of the time you don't have to, you might have one of them, but let's see. Let's go here.
I'm laughing because that drove me nuts, man.
Sometimes they use, marbles and all this. It's the same thing though.
No, that's something different. When they talk about marbles, that's probability.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
When you talking about marbles, that's probability.
And I studied that probability, and it didn't click until I got with you, Mr. T. I'm telling you, I was like, what the heck? Until you explained it to us.
Let me see. Let me see. Let's see if I got an age in here. Age. No age. No age. It might be in 1. Let me see 1. It might be in 1. Let me see. So there's one for number 7. We can do that in probability. Come on. Be in 1. I make so many practice tests, I can't even remember all of them. Let me see if I can find them. There you go, one right there. Now this is a multiple choice, but I'm gonna do it for you. So it says the following system of equations could be used to determine Jose's age and Franco's age. So what they'll tell you is they'll say it in words. They'll say Joe and Franco combined will be 18 years of age.
Yep.
Jose is 2 times as old as Franco minus 3, or 3 years less than 2 times Franco's age. So that part of the part is algebraic expressions. So if you're having problems with that, go to my algebraic expressions part.
Yeah.
Now, once you have your 2 equations, most of those questions are what's called system of equations, just similar to what we just did. So again, you want to get rid of one of the variables, right? So it's 3 ways you can solve a system of equations. The first way I just showed you was elimination. The second way is substitution. The third way is by graphing. So we already did elimination. When I look at this problem, I would use substitution. Why? Because it's already telling me what J is. It's saying J is 2F minus 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug that in and replace J in this second equation. So in the second equation, instead of J, I'm going to have 2F minus 3 plus F equal 18. So I substituted J. I replaced J with 2F minus 3. Everybody understand that? Now I'm going to combine my like terms. 2F and F make 3F.
Okay.
Minus 3 equal 18. Now it's a 2-step algebraic equation. So you add 3 to both sides.
On both sides. Yeah.
You get 3F, the 3's cancel, equal 21. Now let me ask you a question. Why do I keep like crossing out the 3's and bringing down the equal? Why do I keep saying it? Because that's how you should be doing these problems. A lot of times when I see people's scrap paper, they're skipping and not bringing the X down. They're not bringing that. No, each step of the way. So when you go back and review your notes, you know exactly what you did. So now, since I need to divide by, since I'm multiplying, opposite is division.
It's gonna be
So I
7.
get F equals 7. So I know Franco is 7 years old. But the second thing I know is that Jose's age plus Franco's age is 18.
18.
So now I know Jose is how old?
What is it? 11. 11 plus
11.
7 is 18.
And that's who they're asking for, their age. How old is Jose? Jose is 11. That's a similar problem that you may get in terms of they love the age problems with those word problems. Okay, now the multiple choice. Let me show you the multiple choice again. And this is very important for you to understand. You have to understand that they give you a multiple choice, they're giving you the answers. If they're giving you the answers, it makes it sweet. Watch this. So I'm giving the answers. We already know Jose was 11. We already know the answer, right? But watch this. They're giving Jose a 7. So if this is Jose, they're giving you the answers. These are the multiple choice. So if Jose is 7, Franco would be how old? 11. If Jose is 9, how old would Franco be?
2. I mean, no, 9. You gotta be
9.
18. It gotta equal 18.
If Jose is 11, how old would Franco be?
7.
And if Jose is 13, how old would Franco be?
What is that? A 6.
Nope.
No, 18. 5.
5. So now they didn't give us that. But because they gave us Jose's age, and then we know that both their ages equal 18, we were able to say, okay, if Jose is 7, Franco 11. Jose was 9. That's so for all the multiple choice. Now we just go and plug them in. Watch this. So 7 is equal to 2 times 11 minus 3. We know that's not it. 7 equal 22 minus 3. 7 equal 19. Is that right? Does 7 equal 19?
No.
No, so we know it's not the first one. So look what I just did. All I did was plug in J is 7, F as 11. I'm gonna do the same thing here. 9 equal 2 times 9 minus 3. 9 equal 18 minus 3. 9 equal 15. Is that right?
No.
No. So we know it's not B. Same thing. We're gonna do the same thing. 11 equal 2 times 7 minus 3. 11 equal 14 minus 3. 11 equal was 14 minus 3.
You said 14 minus 3 is 11.
Ding, 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 ding. 11 equal 11. Just got my answer without doing any algebra at all. Do you see that trick, T, that I just did by using the multiple choice?
Yes.
Stop. This is what I need you to understand. A lot of times you'll read these questions and it'll blow your brain away. Oh my God, what am I doing? Understand if they give you multiple choice, one of those answers, one of those multiple choice is your answer. Use that to your advantage. Use that to your advantage. Now that's the other one was a
number 7.
It was number 7. Hold on, let me decrease this zoom. I don't know what number.
I like the first way you did it though. That was easier for me.
That was the first way. Yeah, it don't matter. Listen, there's more than one way to skin a cat. You can solve by elimination, you can solve by substitution, you can solve by graphing, you can solve by using the multiple choice. What I'm trying to do is give you all these different ways, and you can decide which one works for you the best. Yeah. What's that one you said? You wanted the probability one, right? Number 7.
Mary has 3, right? That one.
Mary has 3 white, 8 black, 5 green, 4 blue in her drawer. If she randomly selects a scarf from the drawer, what is the probability that is not green? So the first thing you got to realize is probability is equal to
total
selected outcomes
total outcome
over total outcomes. Well, what do I mean by selected outcomes? Well, that's what you're looking for. So if I want to know the probability that it's not green, so I say the probability of not green, that's my selected outcome. So I want to know the number of not green over the total. How many are not green?
So you got 15.
15 are not green. How many total do I have?
20.
20. So the probability of not green is 15 over 20. Okay, well, I got to reduce that to lowest terms. What's the greatest common factor? What's the highest number that can go in 15?
5.
How many times does 5 go into
3.
15?
It's going to be 3/4.
And 5 goes into 20 how many times?
4 times.
4 times. So your fraction is 3/4. What's your decimal equivalent of 3/4?
0.75.
0.75. What's the percent equivalent of 3/4?
75%.
You have to be ready to give your answer to a probability question as a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. You have to be ready for all three. These are not hard. Probability, you're only going to have one or two. They're going to either give you a simple and a compound, or just give you a simple, or just give you a compound. What you got to remember is simple probability is what I just gave you. Selected outcomes over total outcomes. If they give you a compound probability, what you got to think is compound probability is more than one thing happening. So if it's only one thing happening, it's simple. If it's more than one thing happening, compound. So you take the simple probability of each thing that's happening and multiply them together. Let me see if I got an example of that real quick. Let me save this. Let me clear it. Let me see if I can find a compound probability. I don't think I have one here. I'm gonna have to go to my probability section. Hold on. Oh, so again, the reason why I didn't put a whole lot of probability questions on the practice test is because you're only gonna have one or two. So don't waste a whole lot of time on probability. Okay. But I would know how to do it because you're going to have one or two. It's on every single exam. So you're going to have probability, but you're only going to have one or two. So I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time. Here we go, right here. Let's do a probability questions. Now I'm going to try to find a compound probability. Let's see.
Excuse me.
Do you have any conversion problems?
Yeah, I got a whole section on measurements. Look under measurements.
Uh-huh.
Look under measurements. Okay, so let's look at this one. A jar contains 12 caramels, 7 mints, 6 dark chocolates. What is the probability of selecting a dark chocolate and then a caramel without replacement? So how many events is happening? How many things am I doing?
2.
I picked the dark chocolate, then I picked the caramel. That's more than one, so I already know it's compound probability. This is a compound probability. Now I got to find out the simple probability of each one. The probability of picking a dark chocolate.
Yeah, okay.
So how many dark chocolates do I have?
You got 6.
How many total do I have?
25.
25.
13, yeah.
So
25.
the probability of picking a dark chocolate is 6 out of 25. Can I reduce that anymore?
So wait.
Can I reduce 6?
No.
So that's my first event. My second event is the probability of picking a caramel. But what's important, it says without replacement. That means I'm not putting the piece that I took out already, I'm not putting it back in.
Okay.
So now the probability of a caramel. How many caramels do I have?
You have 12.
How many total pieces of candy do I have left?
12.
Wait.
You got 12. You got to put 12 and 7.
No, listen to what I said.
Okay, go ahead.
The number of caramels is 12.
Yeah.
How many total do I have now?
Total candy?
13.
Well, you get 13.
You didn't put it back. What, 25? No, 13, because you didn't put it back.
So
right?
hold on. Let's rewind. How many did I
Yeah.
have
Okay.
when I picked out the dark chocolate? How many total did I have?
You had 25.
25.
So if I had 25, if I
And you
took one
take-
out and I didn't
Oh,
put it
yeah,
back
yeah,
in,
yeah,
how
yeah,
many
yeah,
do I
yeah,
have
yeah.
left?
So you gotta take the 6 from the
19.
25.
No, you're thinking too
No.
hard. If I had
Okay.
25 and I
Okay.
take
Okay.
one out, how many do I have left?
If you take
24.
one out, you got 24.
24. We're not talking about the dark chocolates or the caramels.
Okay.
We're talking about the total.
Okay.
So
Okay.
originally we
Okay.
started with 25. We took the dark chocolate out. We got 24 left.
One dark chocolate. Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
now this reduces to 1/2.
Yep. One half.
Mhm.
So remember, compound probabilities when you take each event and you multiply them by each other. So 6/25 times 1/2. I'm gonna cross cancel. 2 going to 2 one time. 2 going to 6 3 times. That's 3/25 or 0.12 or 12%. Even though I'm not telling you on this question, because I don't know what the multiple choice is. When you're doing a probability prop, you should have your answers a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. Just be in a habit of doing all three. Because a lot of times, anybody who's taking the test know that a lot of times when they give you probability, they'll give you, in the question, they'll have fractions. The answers are being decimals or percent.
Percentage. It
Or if they're
sure
giving you in
will.
percentages, then they have the answers in fractions. So you have to be able to know the fraction, decimal, percent equivalence. You have to. So that's 12%. So the probability of you picking a dark chocolate, not putting it back in, and then picking a caramel is only 12%. There's only a 12% chance, or 12 out of every 100 times that you do that, you're going to be able, that's going to be successful. That's what probability is, the chance of something happening. If you do this pretest on a probability, or do this little quiz on probability, you should be ready for every problem they're going to give you. Every problem they're
Read
going
the
to give.
question too. Make sure you read the question. My God.
Make sure you read it carefully. Yep. Yep. So that was probability. What's next? We got for one more. We got enough time for one more. Give me one more.
Well, you did mine, the systematic equation. You did mine.
Okay. Anybody else?
Okay, well, you want anyone?
Hold on, honey. Let me find something. I'm looking in this book.
Could
I don't
be
think it's on
anything.
your. Oh my God, what is it? It was something on. Oh, I know you know this, Mr. Tenzi. You so smart.
Yes, he is.
Give it
Oh
to
my
me. Give
God.
it to me.
Oh, 1 second. One second. I'm calling.
Any more questions? One more. We got one. We got enough for one more.
I just want to know, are they gonna have like the line segments and stuff on the test?
Probably not.
Okay, cool.
No, I haven't seen any GED would ask you about line segments, but now you
Good.
got to, line segments, points. Now you do have to
Yeah.
know parallel and perpendicular though.
Okay, yeah.
So if you're
Okay.
taking the high set of tasks, they answer those questions. On the GED, I haven't seen one question about points or endpoints or lines at all. Matter of fact, I haven't even seen one about for angles, like complementary and supplementary angles.
Okay.
Let's do a compound shape.
Okay.
Okay.
You just want me to make one up?
Yeah.
All right, let me see. I'm gonna look up one real quick.
I've been
Compound.
studying them hard. I just want to make sure that I'm on,
No problem. No problem. Let me see if I can find one real quick. I got a sheet that I downloaded, but I use so many sheets. It ain't even funny. Let me see. Let's see. Let me try this one and try this one. See what they come up with. For the most intents and purposes, they're going to give you a compound shape. It's going to have to do with rectangles. So all that work you do about half circles and rectangles and triangles, most of the time they just give you rectangles, but you should be ready for all of them. Let me see if this is a good sheet.
True.
Let me see. Let me see.
True.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one. Let me open this up right now. Hold on. Let me download it. And it should open up right in.
I should have asked you to do a conversion, but don't worry, we're gonna stick with GED work. I just do Composite Shape.
Why won't this download for me? It's asking me to sign in. Why is it asking me to sign in for Adobe? I don't know either. Let me see. But don't worry, I gotta account for everything. Don't worry. Like literally, like almost every program, every site you go to.
Wow.
I got them all. Let me put my password in.
Do you know if you have any open space for next Thursday evening?
It's funny that you say that because T was just asking about that today about Thursday. I do have 2 or 3 scheduled for this Thursday and next Thursday. So I got to see what time.
Next Thursday, because I take it on the 14th, and I just want you to go through the math with me.
Yeah, I'll probably make some time for you.
Okay.
Let me just check my schedule. Let me just download this last one here. Why is it not letting me sign in here? What is going on? Oh, there we go. All right. I still don't see a download though. All right, I'm just gonna pull this. I'm gonna pull this sheet over the share form. I'd rather download it, but I don't have to download it. I could just put it right on the screen.
Okay, 2 rectangle shapes.
It doesn't matter which one would you like to do? This one, this one, this one, this one. Doesn't matter which one. This one fine.
Let's go for that one. Yeah.
That look hard, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the area and the perimeter.
Okay. Of the rectangle.
Yeah, we're gonna find both. We're gonna find the area and we're gonna find the perimeter. They love using these problems like this. But all you gotta remember is you gotta know your rules. Rectangles, opposite sides are equal.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is
we're gonna take it all the way up. Okay.
We're gonna have 3 different rectangles. So if this side is 4, this side is 4. This side is 5, this side is 5. If this side is 3, this side is 3.
Yeah.
Now you got one big rectangle. This side is 4, this side is 4. Again, you got another rectangle here. This is 5, this is 5. Now you just add them all up because perimeter is distance around. You got to make sure you got it. So 4 plus 4 is 8, 5 is 13, 16, 20, 23, 28, 33, 38, 42.
So the perimeter is 42 centimeters square.
Because remember, you tell me.
I thought it's supposed to say centimeters square. I'm wrong.
Why centimeters squared? That's only area. Remember, we talk about an area. So say I got 4 centimeters and 4 centimeters, right? 4 times 4 is 16. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared.
It's square, length times width. Exactly.
Multiplying. That's why area is always squared. Volume is always cubed because it's 3 dimensions.
Right.
Got me?
Yes.
Now let's do the area. Now we got all the lengths. So let's do it again. Watch this. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw the 3 rectangles we got. Oops, let me make it a little thicker than that. So I'm gonna make it blue and I'm gonna make it thick. So we got 1. Oops, that's still not thick.
5.
So we got 1 rectangle there.
Right. 4 times 4, I'm sorry.
We got another rectangle right there.
Right there.
And we got another one.
So that's 4 times 4, 5 times
right here. So if we had to find the area, we're looking at each one. So this one is 4 times 4, that's 16.
Right.
This one here is 4 times 3, that's 12. They're easy.
Yeah.
We know this is 5, but now this is 4 here.
Okay.
This is 5 here. So here is 9.
Okay, 9
so
times 5.
9 times 5 is 45. And then you add all 3 areas up. So we got 28 and 45. 73. So
So you don't
73
need the
centimeters squared.
the other one to your right. You don't need that line. You don't add that one. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying.
No. Because why? We got three
okay.
rectangles.
I got
No,
it.
you
Find the
don't.
Three
area of each.
rectangles. Okay, got it.
So the first rectangle, the length and width is 4 times 4. The second
Right.
rectangle was 9 times 5. The third
Right.
rectangle was 3 times 4.
Right. Got it.
Got me?
Yes, I do.
Learn something new every day. Stop playing.
Well, I hope it be like this on that test. Woo.
Just listen, everything that you've been studying, you know. Just walk
Mhm.
yourself through the same steps. What's given? What do they want to know? Use my formula
Right.
sheet.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And walk yourself
Oh,
through
you
each
know
step.
we don't get no formula sheet. We don't get no formula sheet, Mr. T. We gotta know it by heart.
Oh,
Ooh.
no.
Yes,
All right, so
yes.
it's 7 o'clock. Everybody have a wonderful night. Remember, if you have any questions, you can send it through me text, email, or you can wait till Monday. But don't wait till Monday. Everybody have a
Okay.
good night.
You too.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night,
everyone.